With a dark and sinister cloud looming over the horizon, our heroes are left scattered across the galaxy with Vegeta learning spirit control on planet Yardrat and Goku trying to master Ultra Instinct with Merus inside the Room of Spirit and Time, as Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 53 is now officially in the history books, as the Eater of Worlds Moro preps to send his elite gang of criminal friends to planet Earth for scouting. Our heroes are desperately trying to do everything they can with what they have in order to be better suited in battle against Moro when they come across him again, but with our heroes unaware of Moro's plan to invade Earth, it's a race against time as Moro continues to ravage the cosmos, as well as getting stronger with each and every single planet that he begins to consume. As once more before we begin, if you are new to this channel and have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single upload on this channel, to in which if you guys love Dragon Ball Super and cannot wait for the next edition of the Dragon Ball Super manga, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below, as well as dropping your thoughts in the comment section below as to how you guys personally feel about the ongoing arc in the Dragon Ball Super manga. As we kick off Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 53 on Kame's lookout, with Piccolo, Krillin, Hercule, Bulma, Dende, and Mr. Popo having to be on the lookout, as Krillin went along to cry out, "Huh?" That's a lot to take in, as Bulma went along to continue, so you see, the Galactic Patrol needs all the fighters it can get. On that note, where are Gohan and Tien? As over out on the side we get to observe how the original Bandits are basically caged while Bulma is explaining herself, which we've seen go down on the previous manga chapter after having to be apprehended by Piccolo, but Krillin went along ahead to inform Bulma by letting her know Gohan is at one of his college lectures, but he'll swing by after that. And Tien doesn't own a cell phone, so we've got no way to reach him, as Bulma replies, "Geez, who doesn't have a phone in this day and age?" Which does seem kind of odd because can't they communicate via telepathy? But either way, Krillin proceeds to turn towards Piccolo as he went along to ask, "Should we contact Yamcha?" As Bulma also replies, "Jocko's here." And with Jocko finally arriving, Jocko quickly steps out of his ship as he went along to comment, "Hey Bulma, I told you to gather up all of the toughest warriors." As Bulma went along to respond, Krillin was the only one who can come. He's got absolutely nothing else going on. As Krillin slowly looks at Bulma, he goes on to tell her, "I'm not that free." With Eska having to pop out behind Jocko, he went along to cry out, "Dende!" With Dende replying, "Eska, it's really you. Thank goodness you're safe, yes." As Jocko went along to tell everyone, the brat tagged along when I said I was heading to Earth. As Piccolo went along to question, was he the only one who made it? As Jocko replies, "Yep. You three are the last surviving Namekians," and this really bothers Piccolo. As Eska went along to further inform Dende, "I'm ready to fight for peace in the galaxy and to restore Namek, so if there's any way I can help, please let me know." So this is the first time that Piccolo is overhearing the fact that all of his people on planet Namek are essentially dead by the hands of Moro. As only then the Macaroni brothers inside the cage went along to cry out, "As if you losers could ever stand up to Moro." As the ringleader continues, "It's obey or be killed. No third option, you hear?" As Jocko comments pasta, he walks on over towards the cage as Jocko continues, "You three are the last people I expected to run into here." As Pasta greets Jocko by telling him, "Long time no see, Pipsqueak." And with Jocko getting closer, he went along to comment, "I've never met anyone who belonged in a cage more than you." As Pasta replied, "Mighty kind of you," with Jocko continuing, "Once everything's hunky-dory again, you're headed right back to the Galactic Slammer." But Pasta doesn't seem to be concerned at all. Instead, he laughs in Jocko's face by telling him, "You still don't get it. The main force is going to swoop down to rescue us any day now." With Jocko asking, "What? You let them contact Moro?" And Piccolo is silent because it's not like Piccolo intended them to do so. But Jocko's panicking either way, as Jocko went along to comment, "Try leading with with that next time. I'd better ask HQ to confirm who exactly is coming our way. As meanwhile, somewhere deep in outer space, we observe how there is in fact a ship that is traveling through the cosmos, and inside of this ship, we observe Shimoreka, Yumba, and 7-3, as Shimoreka went along to comment, "Earth, huh? Never heard about it. What about you, Yumba?" As Yumba's eating, he went along to tell Shimoreka, "Nope, Shimoreka, but I sure hope it's got some yummy treats." As Shimoreka replies, "You've got food on your brain and not much else, huh?" As Yumba tells him, "Of course, it's been nothing but these stinking bar things since we busted out of here." But then 7-3, as he's calmly sitting down, goes on to reply, "Planet 4032, green, 877, third planet from its star in the outskirts of the northern sector of space." And Yumba and Shimoreka are actually puzzled because they didn't know that 7-3 knew this, as Shimoreka responds, "Should've known you'd have the intel, 7-3. As 7-3 responds, "My data indicates that this planet is still in the developmental stage and is of little value." As Yumba comments, "Little value? Probably nothing yummy then." As 7-3 continues, "However, this data is from before we were arrested by the Galactic Patrol. It could be out of date." And Shimoreka is beginning to get very agitated as he comments, "Bah, sounds like a boring rock." But Yumba's throwing a fit as he goes on to cry out, "I'm so hungry, no more waiting, find another planet for a pit stop." And that's exactly what they do, as Shimoreka responds, "Fine, whatever, just a quick stop." As they end up landing on this unknown planet back on Earth, Jocko went along to contact HQ, as HQ responds, "Agent Jocko, we have a read on the ship charting a course for Earth. Scans suggest that Shimoreka and Yumba are on board, along with 0G731. As Jocko comments, 7-3 is with them?" With Krillin asking, "Who the heck is that? Is that his name?" As Jocko replies, "All three are Sagambo's henchmen. They are members of an infamous brigade of the Galactic Bandits. They rampaged all around the galaxy before great pains were taken to catch them." As Bulma asks, "By you, Jocko?" With Jocko telling Bulma no, by Agent Merus. So Jocko further confirms that 7-3, Yumba, and Shimoreka were originally captured by Merus quite some time ago. As only then Krillin went along to comment, "But the Earth's got Piccolo and Gohan. We'll be fine, right?" As Jocko comments, "Of course. On that note, I'll be off. If you survive, I'll be back to recruit you later." As Bulma cries out, Wait a second, leaving so soon? You should stay and fight too." As Bulma grabs onto Jocko, Jocko goes on to tell her, "Nah, I'm out of here. I only came here to pick up the new recruits anyway." As Bulma tells him, "You're the only one who knows anything about these baddies, so you'd better help us." As Krillin also comments, "So you're saying that they're too strong for you to beat?" As Jocko comments, "Well, you don't beat around the bush, huh? But to be honest, yeah, exactly." As Piccolo chimes in, "What do we need to know about them? At least tell us that before you leave." As Jocko touches back down, he goes on to tell Piccolo, "Sheesh, fine. But then I'm gone. They are all wicked strong, but the one you need to watch out for is OG-73-1 and his nasty special move." As of course, on the same planet that we've seen 7-3, Shimoreka, and Yumba make a pit stop on, we then observe how the natives of the planet are being absolutely decimated by the bandits. Now here's the thing, here's what makes 7-3 so dangerous as an adversary, is the fact that we get to observe how he's holding down one of these individuals by the back of the neck as his allies are basically pointing their spikes, and just like porcupines, they redirect their focus at what's in front of them. They're shooting these needles directly at their opposition, and what's dangerous about 7-3 is the fact that not only does he go from holding one of their own men on the floor by the back of the neck and further having to take his abilities and take his powers, but also the moment he realizes that these individuals are shooting these needles at him, what 7-3 ends up doing is using this individual as a meat shield to further take all of the hits for him, which I will say is very graphic because The way 7-3's demeanor and the way he's expressing himself, it's almost as if he has no emotion, right? He's an artificial life form, and I love how he's just holding this poor individual by the back of the neck as he's taking all of these needles, and essentially right before dropping him, we get to see, right in the middle of 7-3's head, we get to see how the same individual that he just used to take his abilities and basically use as a shield to guard himself with, we then observe how the individual that he had just killed is now, I guess, a part of him in terms of abilities and techniques. And what's really awesome about 7-3 is the idea that the minute he drops this porcupine character, he then immediately grows spikes of his own, and just as the opposition had done against 7-3, 7-3 then redirects his porcupine spikes directly at his opponents and does the exact same attack that they have done onto 7-3, except this time it's fatal. 73 massacred everybody. As back on Earth, Jocko further went along to inform everyone about 7-3, as Krillin went along to comment, a copy ability? What do you mean? As Jocko further explains, he can steal other people's powers by grabbing their necks, and then the stolen powers last for about 30 minutes. As Krillin asks, a whole half hour? With Piccolo responding, so this isn't about hijacking bodies or brainwashing, with Jocko replying, nah, not like that. 7-3's already plenty strong, so the abilities he copies just gives him an extra boost. As Bulma replies, what sort of being is he? With Jocko responding, an artificial one, cooked up by a planet with advanced tech and science. So he's got nothing resembling normal emotions or feelings. He is just a killing machine who obeys his allies' orders. As back on the planet we get to see how 7-3 massacred everyone, at that given point 7-3 is just about to walk away until he observes how some of the natives are actually using a wormhole to send their people through for safety. 7-3 notices this as the natives cry out in pain, because at that given point 7-3 is just about to utilize this to his advantage. As back on the lookout, Krillin then goes on to ask, well, how long do we have? As Jocko responds, they'll be here in about 10 days. With Krillin asking, only 10 days? I'd better start training. How about you, Piccolo? As Piccolo went along to tell Krillin, I never stopped honing myself even in the best of times. So Piccolo only further confirms that he never stopped training, which he's probably the only one among that old group that never stopped training until then. Out of nowhere, Moro's goons finally end up arriving on Earth by using a warp dimension-like technique to where 7-3 created a wormhole to pass through from, as of course seen directly above 7-3's head, very similar to Zamasu in the manga and very similar to Janemba in the idea that those characters were able to create these little dimension pockets to where they were able to attack and just disappear and reappear from. That's essentially almost the exact same thing that 7-3 ended up doing here after confronting the same individual on the planet in which they just came from, with Krillin having to ask, huh? Who are they? And Jocko is in complete panic mode as Jocko went along to cry out, 7-3! And everyone is puzzled because the same individuals that they were just told about have now finally arrived. As Bulma asks, what? These three are the bandits? As Shimoreka goes on to greet everyone, he went along to comment, lucky us. The planet we stopped on was home to these critters who can create warp portals. As Yumba responds, would have taken days to get here by spaceship. As 7-3 turns his head, he went along to acknowledge the Macaroni gang. And with Moro's goons slowly approaching the cage, Jocko went along to cry out, hey, stop in the name of the law. But I mean, in reality, who really listens to the law these days anyway? With Shimoreka turning towards Jocko, he then went along to acknowledge, oh, you're with the Galactic Patrol, yeah? Drawing a blank on your name though. As 7-3 responds, it's Jocko. Shimoreka then responds, right. Why are you here, guy? Don't tell me that you wrangled the Macaroni gang. Not a bad day's worth of work. As Jocko comments, darn right I did. And if you're here to save them, think again. As the Macaroni brothers inside the cage went along to comment, you showed up quick, Shimoreka. Be a pal and bust us out of here, huh? With Shimoreka then approaching the cage, he went along to comment, hey Pasta, alive and well, huh? I've got a message for you from Lord Moro. Traitors acting on their own are dispensable. His words, not mine. And right before Shimoreka is just about to end the Macaroni Gang's life, out of nowhere Piccolo quickly swoops in and grabs onto Shimoreka's hand, preventing him from killing the Macaroni Gang. As Shimoreka went along to ask, What do you want? With Piccolo telling him, no killing allowed in the sanctuary. And the Macaroni Gang is relieved, as Shimoreka tells Piccolo, get off me! As Piccolo responds, and no evildoers are allowed on planet Earth, so be gone. And Shimoreka is eerily quiet as he then turns towards 7-3 and Yumba. 7-3 is eerily enough staring down Piccolo without saying a single word, as only then within the blink of an eye, 7-3 ends up teleporting behind Piccolo, grabs Piccolo by the back of the neck, as everyone then begins to panic. At that given point in time, 7-3 is stealing and taking everything that Piccolo knows, his attacks, his abilities, his techniques, and he's mimicking that, as of course we get to see that be reflected on the centerpiece of 7-3's forehead. But Piccolo quickly sideswipes 7-3's hand and steps out of the way and asking, What did you do? As Jocko comments, Oh no! As Shimoreka then goes on to state, do it 7-3. As 7-3 eerily enough puts his fingers on his forehead, Piccolo then eerily enough opens his eyes as he knows exactly what 7-3 is about to do. As 7-3 then fires the special beam cannon, the special beam cannon is shown hurtling towards Piccolo's direction, and with Piccolo quickly with only milliseconds to spare moving out of the way, we then get to observe how the special beam cannon actually went through Kame's lookout, as Shimoreka went along to comment, hee, you've got some sweet moves up your sleeve, I guess. As Jocko cries out, you let him copy all your abilities! Damn it, Piccolo! But then out of nowhere, 7-3's fist is seen extending outwards as it goes on ahead to connect with Jocko, essentially knocking Jocko off of the lookout, and with Jocko having to fall plummeting down to essentially his death because, of course, Jocko can't fly, but Piccolo immediately takes action as he cries out, Jocko! And leaps off of the lookout to save him as Shimoreka tells 7-3, after them! And with Krillin trying to jump in to save his friends, out of nowhere he observes how someone grabs onto his leg. So 7-3 and Shimoreka follow Piccolo off of the lookout. With Yumba staying behind, he latched onto Krillin's leg as he went along to tell Krillin, nah, you're gonna fight me. And with Piccolo flying down to save Jocko, Jocko uses the rockets on his boots to stay afloat, with Piccolo quickly braking as he went along to ask, you can fly all along? As Jocko went along to tell him, for short bursts, yeah. As they touch back down, Jocko went along to tell Piccolo, you just had to go and let them grab you after my warning about his ability, huh? As Piccolo responds, sorry, that was sloppy. But tell me how to best to fight him, as Jocko tells him, well, the copied moves are just as strong as yours, meaning the one he fired off was basically no different than if you had done it. As Piccolo comments, right, I understand. And with them having to observe how Shimoreka and 7-3 are closing in, Piccolo went along to comment, so I must think of it as fighting an exact copy of myself. As Jocko cries out, here he comes! 7-3 is the first one shown having to jump right into the fight, as only then 0G73 begins to expand his arms outwards, very similar to what Piccolo is able to do by expanding his limbs and being able to stretch out just like this. It's most interesting to see how 73 is able to adapt this kind of ability so easily in being able to replicate each and every single one of Piccolo's moves, including stretching his own limbs, but Piccolo wastes no time by doing the exact same thing. And what I really love about this concept, even though Jocko's taken back by this because he was just about to use his ray gun, is the fact that we've never seen two individuals before lock on each other in a test of strength like scenario, and it's very visible that once Piccolo and 73 lock on, Piccolo is shown struggling, but 73 is not. So while Piccolo has 73 in the air and 73 has Piccolo grounded, it's then become a test of strength as the two begin to fling each other around, and I love how Piccolo's first go-to defensive maneuver is to block off 73 by grabbing him by using his own limbs to grab onto 73. It's very evident that once the two end up circling around, 73 then lands on the ground as he begins to then swing Piccolo around as the two end up headbutting each other, to where I will say is a very cool looking panel in the fact that both Piccolo and 73 seem to be rattled by this, and rightfully so, because if you're going to swing somebody with such force and then pull them towards you, of course the force of impact behind two people having to headbutt each other from there is going to be very impactful. So the second we see them both headbutt each other, I love how Piccolo opens his eyes and he's shown to be very aggravated, as 73, like I said before, is displaying no signs of emotion. He's not hurt, he's not concerned, he's not smiling, he's not angry, he's just very focused and very, very serious. So with 73 then continuing to expand his arms in his attempts of catching Piccolo off guard, Piccolo ends up doing the exact same thing, as now we have an extended limb battle with 73 having to throw long extended punches with Piccolo doing the same. And poor Jocko is left by the cliffside pointing his ray gun, but he can't seem to get a clear enough shot directly aimed at 73 in order to get him off of Piccolo's back for the time being. However, just as Jocko is about to fire his first shot, out of nowhere Shimoreka takes his gun as he goes along to tell Jocko, "Over here, galactic loser," and Jocko's getting really frustrated as he goes on to tell Shimoreka, "You dare steal my firearm? It's as important as the galactic agent's life. You've got some nerve, Shimoreka, give it back." As Piccolo is then showing fighting 73, Jocko then exchange punches and fights against Shimoreka. But as we begin to go deeper into the fight against number 73, I love how each and every single time Piccolo attacks 73, 73 responds by using the exact same technique or attack on Piccolo. Hence, for example, when they both stretch each other's limbs out, when Piccolo is trying to counter evasively, everything that Piccolo is doing, 73 is following through by doing the exact same thing, even going as far as getting face to face with one another, as of course there is a massive explosion that sends both individuals flying back, but the only difference here is that it would appear that Piccolo is struggling and 73 is not. So this is what makes the fight that much more intriguing, is the fact that we know that Piccolo is strong, even though he kind of is getting shafted. At least here he is shown in action in actually being relevant within Dragon Ball Super story, rather than kicking back and just simply being a babysitter. So I would rather take this than Piccolo simply falling behind. So as of course we get to see how 73 lands on his feet, he then proceeds to open his mouth in letting out a massive blast that completely takes over Piccolo's body. And this is the exact attack that not only causes Piccolo's robes to just disintegrate, but also goes as far as to inflict actual damage to Piccolo, to where Piccolo is now beginning to feel the effects of this battle. And there's no telling how strong 73 is, but he is strong enough to hang in there with Piccolo in beating him around with complete and utter ease. As Jocko further went along to tell Piccolo, "Forgot to mention, that guy's got infinite stamina. You can't wear him down," as Piccolo comments, "Damn it, you should have mentioned that sooner." As we go back to Yumba and Krillin, this reminds me personally of Boltamo, as of course Yumba's throwing punches, Krillin went along to say to himself, "This guy wouldn't have expected such sharp attacks based on his looks." As Bulma went along to tell Hercule, "Hercule, go and help him." And I love how Hercule gets into his fighting stance, trying to play the tough guy, as he went along to tell Bulma, "Sure thing, Cue-Ball. Cue-Ball needs some backing, huh? Rah!" So with Hercule trying to do whatever he can to put on this act, Krillin actually attempts to hit Yumba, but Yumba actually uses a cannonball-like maneuver to jump out of the way, as eerily similar to what we've seen Super Buu do against Gotenks. We then observe how Yumba uses his body mass to literally knock Krillin off of the lookout, or should I say, through the lookout. As Krillin is hit with such force, Hercule looks down on the hole just created and asking, "Cue-Ball, are you okay down there?" With Bulma telling him, "Let's follow them quickly. Get in, everyone! With everyone then having to board Bulma's ship and heading back down on the battlefield. But as we go back to the battle happening beneath Kame's lookout, Piccolo and 73 are exchanging in a special beam attack beam struggle. So we've never seen this be done before, not at least to my knowledge, in the fact that someone is copying Piccolo's attack and then using that against them in a beam struggle like scenario. So Piccolo is shown struggling. In fact, he has his left arm on top of his right. He's trying to put more pressure and more force into his attack, while 73 is looking so calm just by simply standing there and retaliating against Piccolo's special beam cannon. So we get to then observe how the entire landscape is shaking, and I cannot wait until Dragon Ball Super the anime ends up returning, because can you imagine how awesome this would be animated Shintani style to see 73 have a special beam cannon beam struggle? How awesome would that be? But nonetheless, towards the end, we get to see how Piccolo is pouring more of his power into this attack, as Piccolo went along to comment, "Damn it, getting beaten by my own techniques," as Jocko comments he'll be back to normal in 30 minutes. Just try and hold it out, as Piccolo comments, "Sorry, but I don't think I'll last that long," which by the end we slowly get to observe how Piccolo's special beam cannon is slowly getting pushed back, with 73 maintaining the exact demeanor he had kept since the beginning of this fight. It's fairly evident that at that point Piccolo stands no chance in holding his own in this beam struggle, because Piccolo is then overwhelmed. With 73 pushing back, we then observe how the special beam cannon goes right through the cliffside to where Shimoreka and Jocko are fighting on, but then as of course we observe, Piccolo isn't on the battlefield anymore, as Jocko goes on to ask, "Where'd he go? Was he blown into bits?" As 73 looks on, he notices up above on the other side of the cliff, Gohan had finally arrived from his college lecture to save Piccolo, or in this case, should I say, his real dad. And with all jokes aside, Gohan went along to ask Piccolo, "Are you okay, Piccolo?" With Jocko commenting, "Oh, it's Son Goku's boy," as Piccolo tells Gohan, "Thanks for the save, Gohan." With Gohan responding, "I'm sorry I'm so late, but what's going on? Who are those guys?" As Piccolo tells Gohan, "I'll save the long version for later for now. Gohan, just don't let that one guy grab you by the neck or else he'll copy your powers." As Gohan asks copy, Piccolo continues, "Right now, you are the strongest fighter we've got on Earth." And with Gohan then slowly taking off his glasses, he went along to comment, "So my dad and Vegeta must be off-world." As only then the narration goes on to fill us in and letting us know, far, far from Earth, on an uninhabited planet, we go inside the hyperbolic time chamber as Merus is sparring with Goku. As the narration then goes on to continue, Son Goku and Merus train in a special dimension cut off from the outside world, one where time flows differently, which surprisingly enough Goku is shown getting the absolute crap beat out of him, which is actually very, very puzzling and very alarming to even think about, considering the fact that Goku had gotten so strong, so unimaginably more powerful than how he was in Dragon Ball Z, Battle of Gods, Resurrection of F, the Universe 6 tournament, the Tournament of Power, Dragon Ball Super Broly. Ever since those events, Goku had gotten so much more powerful than how he was before, and here we have Merus literally shown beating Goku literally down into the floor, and Goku is beyond battle damaged while Merus doesn't have a single scratch on him. And as Goku is shown on the ground huffing and puffing, Goku's struggling to get up, as he further went along to tell Merus, "Now I'm kind of doubting that I actually ever managed to achieve Ultra Instinct." As Merus goes on to tell Goku, "I expect you were in an extreme crisis when it first was activated." As Goku slowly sits up, he went along to tell Merus, "For sure, it was a matter of life and death." As Merus continues, then the quickest way to achieve it again is to replicate those conditions. As Goku struggles to get up, he goes on to ask, "You mean I gotta be prepared to die during this training?" As Merus tells Goku, "Yes, exactly." And with Goku smiling, he went along to tell Merus, "Fine, then you'd better come at me to kill." So Goku wants to be put in a situation now to where he's telling Merus, "Okay, if I have to prepare myself for death for me to achieve it, come at me with everything you've got." As meanwhile, back on planet Yardrat, we get to see how Vegeta is meditating and slowly training due to the hands of the Yardranians, as Vegeta goes on to ask, "Hey, how many more days of this?" as the Yardrat tells Vegeta, your spirit is even less stabilized than Goku's was. First, you must achieve balance in the body and mind, as Vegeta comments, damn it, as the Yardrat continues, by the way, Goku was up here for 150 days. Your balance is all disrupted again, as Vegeta goes on to comment, guys, I'm starting to regret ever coming to this rock, as the manga chapter special then comes to a close. Now, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that by the time we actually reach the end of this entire arc that we're going to see a massive battle go down between Goku, Vegeta, the Daikaioshin, Merus, and everyone involved against Moro, because with Moro's sadistic nature and having to just simply chill back and relax for the time being, not being too concerned about Goku or Vegeta getting stronger, not being concerned about the Daikaioshin's abilities having to be drained, and not being as strong as he once was, Moro right now does hold the upper hand against our heroes, given the fact that Moro right now doesn't have to do much in order to further prove his point, because he had proved this point many times before when Goku and Vegeta had confronted him, either on planet Namek or above it. And the scary part is Moro just seems to be getting stronger and stronger each and every single time he begins to consume a planet, so by the time we actually get a full-on rematch between Goku and Vegeta versus Moro, Moro at that given point might be stronger than how we've previously seen him go up against Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, and that experience in and of itself is going to force Goku and Vegeta in using a greater power, a much greater tactic than what they've used previously in order to fully defeat Moro. But with that being said, I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below as to how you guys believe this entire thing is going to come to head involving Goku, Vegeta, the Daikaioshin, Merus, and Moro. If you guys think there's going to be an all-out war that's going to happen on planet Earth, do you guys think that perhaps they're going to kill Moro? And if so, who do you guys think is going to be the one to finally put Moro down? Is it going to be Vegeta? Is it going to be the Daikaioshin? Is it going to be possibly Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku? And if they don't end up killing him, then do you guys believe that they do have the capabilities in locking him up again? And even if they lock him up for good this time, are they going to throw him back within the actual Galactic Patrol prison, or are they going to possibly seal him off a different way? I want to get your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. Once more, if you guys are stoked, ready, and excited for more awesome Dragon Ball content, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to never miss a single upload on this channel. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up by slapping that like button down below. Tune back in for the next video. I'm personally excited to see what's going to happen in Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 54 that's going to be debuting on November 20th of next month. So again, be sure to come back on the channel to see what happens next. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys down the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace!
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming.
Also follow UnrealEntGaming on these social media platforms to stay connected at all times. And if you don't, then very soon you will all be dead! Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck's up, on? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes. Jesus Christ, that's huge! What, Broly?
Frieza.
Uh-oh.
Prepare to die!
But once you get video, lots of likes, or Bill will turn you into chocolate!
Vados, get over here! Tell these mortals that I'm the biggest UnrealEntGaming fan. This is my moment. I'm a part of his notification squad. Universe 7 can have all the fun. I just want the food.
And don't forget to leave a comment on this video. Show some love for the best community on YouTube.
Kakarot!